think,
Call recording is on.
all right, I think we're synced up with the conference call, if anybody calls in, and we'll call the meeting of the Redevelopment Commission to order and start off with the roll call.
This call is being recorded. Christie, aye.
Good morning. All right, good morning, Christy. Okay, Ken Austin.
Present.
Paul Beaton down there by himself. Okay. I'm here. Richard Wirtz.
Here.
Christie's here. And right now we're still Brian here, but BJ, but he might walk in here in a minute. But we do have a quorum, so we'll start the meeting. First item of business is the approval of the minutes. Actually, we've got 3 sets there from May 19th, May 26th, and June 2nd. We can take them individually, or if you prefer, we could just record our approval of all of those in one fell swoop.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of May 19th, May 26th, and June 2nd.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor of approval of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Under old business, we have resolution 20-11, $10,000 for Shell Building Number 2 marketing. This is a carryover from last month's meeting, maybe even a couple other meetings. But Christy, you want to explain what this is?
Sure. This is a request. This was a suggestion from both Don and Fritz with Cushman & Wakefield that we allocate funds for any kind of special mailings or open house related to the sale of the Shell building. These would just be direct costs related to that. And I believe we did request somewhat of a budget from them prior to any expenditure of funds, and they were agreeable to that, but this would just set that in motion, so that would be available if needed.
The way I understand this is that if any expenditure is approved, before the expenditure goes out, it is still be brought in here and approved. So this is just kind of a line, kind of a guidance line more than anything else on that.
We would
Okay.
be notified before.
Okay. Does this require a public hearing? Okay. We need a motion to approve to read by title only, and then we can have the public hearing.
Make a motion to read resolution 2020-11 by title only.
So a motion, is there a second? Second. All right. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay. That motion's approved, so we'll open a public hearing for this particular item. Is anybody jumping up to talk about it or raise a question? So I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion for approval of resolution 2020-11.
Move.
Motion by Buning, is there a second? Okay, second by Wirtz. Any further discussion? And again, any expenditure comes back in here before it's approved. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is approved. Okay, looks like Rob Shafstall, we have under old business, an update on the TIF allocation areas.
I think the update's really for Krista. She's had a conversation with the auditor and the assessor, and she can give us a better update.
All right.
Yeah, so we started the process, I believe it was at the end of maybe even of 19, of creating a new allocation area for the expansion of Interstate Warehouse and the new development by GDI east of 525 and at the southeast corner of 525 and State Road 44. Bring that map up, give me 1 second. And then through that process, we realized that because the building was going to be attached, we weren't sure if we were able to capture that new assessed value in a new allocation area or if it would be tied to that existing allocation area. So long story short, we met with the auditor's office, and they said that they could leave those parcels separate, and as long as we had a legal description, we could capture that new assessed value. They would work with us to do that. Dana, is there anything I'm missing on that? Or is that?
No, that was it, they were just, as long as the legal description shows that those are separate parcels.
So we'll have to just keep an eye on that, and I'll talk to Jeff Peters about that to make sure when he does our financials and calculations every year that they capture that increased assessed value correctly. But this shows you here, this yellow section is what they're working on now. And then there's another green phase here, there's another building over here. But right now, the parcel line kind of goes like this through those both. So we just have to work with them on that to do that. And then this is the building by GDI here, just a little bit under 1 million square feet. And so that parcel would also start a new allocation area as well. Since then, Sunbeam has started building this building here, and that is already in this east side TIF. And what we were hoping to do is remove that parcel, there's actually 2 parcels, remove those 2 parcels from that TIF to create a new allocation area, so it would start a new time period for it. And all of this highlighted kind of in blue and in yellow, that was introduced for annexation last night to City Council. So we also need to create a new allocation area for that area as well. So just trying to figure out the timing, can we wait and do all of this, because we have to have the declaratory resolution from the Redevelopment Commission, and then it has to go to Plan Commission, and then City Council, and then back to the Redevelopment Commission. And so instead of doing it 3 different times, if we could just do it all at once, as long as we get it done before the end of the year, I think we're okay.
Krista, while you've got that pulled up, why don't you go ahead and kind of show the group what the city act is starting on action as far as annexation east of that.
Yeah, so that is this right here. This is the Trestler Farm, kind of highlighted here in blue. And then also this is the land owned by, I think it's GR2.
The Park and Carol Davis somewhere there, don't you?
Yeah, all the way up to here.
Okay.
So that's the process. Mark, does that look right to you?
The annexation actually goes over
Go over this
to that line, yes.
Okay, that's, okay.
So right now, there's a farm for sale. My daughter lives right across the street from the graveyard. I assume that is the parcel that is a little bit darker in the northeast corner of what you're showing there, right there. Is that the farm for sale, right there?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, and is that going to be included in annexation, that property's right there where the graveyard is?
This one is not.
It is not. Okay. Because I know there's water out there, there's just no sewers there.
Well, this is the sewer expansion here, so there will be.
But it does all the way up to Nybergville on that far
Yeah,
east
this is
side.
the Nyberg edition here.
Anyway, that got introduced last night, so.
Okay, that's not the graveyard there, it's up further north to the T, and then what 100 north goes
Up
right?
here.
Excuse me?
Is it right here?
Yeah, okay. So it's just south of there.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, more for an update, that TIF area that you defined will be set up at some point in the future, and it'll kind of start the clock running then on the timing of
Yeah.
that.
We can't create an allocation area until it's annexed, so it's just a timing issue and doing them all at the same time versus 3 separate.
Right.
processes, so just.
Okay, any questions of Krista on that? All right, we'll move into new business, and Mark's going to give us a good update on the amphitheater area, Youngs Creek Development area.
Good morning. The bids for the amphitheater project were open last Tuesday. We received 2 timely bids, one from Milestone Contractors in the amount of $7,763,029.27, and the second from Myers Construction Management, Inc. in the amount of $5,672,672.70. We did receive 2 additional bids that were not timely, so they were returned unopened. We don't know what those amounts were. The Board of Works approved a contract for the project with Myers Construction Management at last night's meeting. We did contact the references provided by Myers. Those included the City of Noblesville and the City of Fishers for amphitheater construction. Those projects have been completed within the last 4 years. We also contacted Greenwood. Myers is doing quite a bit of work for them at this time. One project is the DPW building that's along the southeast corner of Craig Park along Smith Valley Road. If you've been on Smith Valley Road, you've probably seen that. They are also doing the old city park renovation, and they did about 3 years ago the community center renovation. All of their references checked out. They're a good company. They've got a lot of experience doing this kind of work. We will be sending out the notice of award today, and a notice to proceed upon execution of the contract and submittal of bonds. Substantial completion of the project is July 1st of next year, and final completion, which basically is punch list items, will be by October 22nd of next year. The first matter of business that they will conduct is demolition of the Grams buildings over here. That cannot be done until IDEM issues a permit for that work, so the contractor is responsible for submitting that permit application. I believe there's a fairly lengthy 2 to 4 week waiting period once that permit application is submitted.
Mark, I don't mean to interrupt you. Could you elaborate on what the scope of the construction will entail?
Okay, the bids included a base bid and then 7 alternates. The base bid is all the site work, the restroom and amphitheater building construction, the paved areas for the farmers market and event venue, as well as the parking lot. The alternates include park shelters and pavement, service building upgrades, additional site amenities, central lawn irrigation system, improvements on Monroe Street, and then additional landscape improvement, as well as, I'm not sure what this means, but landscape mitigation improvements. It does not include the playground equipment or the splash pad. Chip requested that we take those out of the bid because he wanted to pursue those under a state or federal purchasing program. He feels like he can better control what the end product would be and select exactly what type of equipment he wants. If there are other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Just sitting here, a $2 million difference, but it's the same, they bid the same contract?
Yes.
That isn't Milestone's line of work, is it?
It's not Milestone's strong point. They're more involved in road construction than building construction. So they would have contacted subcontractors to provide pricing on all of those structures, and I'm sure that they had a little bit of a higher markup than what Myers does.
Okay.
Didn't one of the bidders set out his car?
We had two of the bidders that submitted late, and we were advised that we couldn't accept those bids by Lynn Gray. They were at the last minute trying to fill out the bid sheet, and they were just not timely in getting those numbers.
Now, who's paying the inspections?
The city paid the inspection. Crossroad, we signed a contract with Crossroad, did that at the board meeting last night as well. That's about $593,000, cost not to exceed.
Okay. Any other questions of Mark?
I have the inspection for 593, I have that paying out of the bond. Is that,
Yes,
okay,
that's correct.
all right.
So we will pay Crossroads out of the bond proceeds?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, that total then will be just under $6.3 million for the amphitheater project.
Okay. Krista's gonna give us an update on the bond, the $10 million bond, and of course, we have 3 years to spend that, but it looks like we're not gonna have any problem with that, so. Okay.
On the US 31 project, we do have an update meeting with the consultants tomorrow. They've gone through a considerable amount of work with NDOT to finalize the geometry and the configuration of the left turn movements and J turn movements on 31. So that project is moving forward. We have not had any indication from NDOT whether the situation with tax revenue and coronavirus and things like that have caused any concern with that project moving forward. It could potentially delay the project construction start date, but they're still firmly telling us that project is moving forward.
Okay. Very good. Mark, thank you for the update.
Mm-hmm.
You're next still, Mark.
Okay. Oh, the easements?
Yeah.
Okay. We have 2 easements that have been submitted to us by Duke Energy. One is for providing service to the Shell building. It basically is a dedicated easement for power installation, a transformer, and the line feeding transformer. Chris, if you scroll up, I think you can see the drawing that is represented.
That's the other one.
All right. This is the amphitheater one.
So it shows the line coming in from Linville Way. They've shown the center line of a 15-foot wide easement, and then the location of the transformer that will be about 10 feet away from the building. And because these are redevelopment commission properties, the commission is who needs to authorize this easement.
So, can we discuss the other one also?
Sure.
I think it'd be easier to discuss them both at the same time.
Other thing, Mark, on that's going to be underground coming up the transformer.
Yes.
Okay.
And the first easement on Linville Way has been sent. I think Krista, didn't you send it to Rob last week?
Yeah.
Okay, this easement is for the buildings shown are the old Bass and Load buildings that have been removed. We've been asked to provide an easement along the north property line, just west of at the southwest corner of the building that houses Jack's Donuts and, is it Take Root?
Wild Root.
Pardon me?
Wild Root.
Wild Root, that's it, okay. Anyway, so we have a request for an easement to provide power to that building, and I believe it will also provide some power to the amphitheater property. This is the location of, I believe, an existing overhead line. Duke is going to bury that. However, they will install a pole at the southwest corner of the Wild Root space to house a transformer. We considered doing some sort of ground-mounted transformer. That they won't do that because it's within the floodway. They gave us an option of either pole-mounted or a very, very ugly concrete block structure that would elevate the transformer above the flood elevation, and that would be several feet high. So the less obtrusive option is putting a pole in. It's also much less costly. So I know that Lynn Gray has reviewed this easement. She sent back the document to Duke with some suggested changes, mostly dealing with cell tower equipment and basically making that prohibited. We don't want to have Duke install a pole and then have it all junked up with cell tower equipment. So that's the status of this. I understand Krista has also sent this to Rob.
Yeah, so thank you. I was just going to say that I can tell Lynn has requested changes because, so what I'd like to do is make them match more than they do. So the shell building easement, for example, doesn't have some terms that she was able to get into the amphitheater agreement that I think are good terms. So
Table this.
I think is there some immediate rush going on?
There is on the Duke easement, yes. We need to have Duke relocate. They're also getting an easement from Indiana American, so this easement will.
You mean on the amphitheater one?
Yes, on the amphitheater.
Well, I know if if BJ were here, I think he would also ask that some of those same changes be made, and some of them are I would consider meaningful. So, I suppose what you might do is consider. I know you didn't want to do this last month on the real estate agreement, but you might want to consider authorizing Bob to sign once maybe BJ and I like the form or something like that.
Okay, could I make a motion then to approve the grant of easement with the new language for Bob's signature after review by the RDC board and attorney?
Well, a couple things. One is you don't want to identify me. Let's just say RDC president.
Okay.
The other would be subject to the affirmative review by RDC council and RDC secretary.
Okay.
So I expect to be PJ at this point. That'd be sufficient.
Yes.
So could you restate that motion, Rob?
Yes, I think it's a motion to approve both easements, subject to legal approval and RDC secretary approval and approval by the president.
Secretary or the president's signature?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said.
All right.
Is that for both of them, or Rob, are you?
I said both,
You did?
if that's what Richard meant, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a second for that motion?
Second.
Okay. Let me ask this question. Do any of the other RDC members wish to review the documents before they're signed? Are you okay with BJ and Rob, looking at that, all right.
I'm not smart at those
Mark, do you need the amphitheater one though? I mean, that's your preferences.
That would be the preference, yes.
So, Rob, are you okay with just the amphitheater one and then we review the shell building one?
Well, it's actually the reverse, you know, I'm sorry, say that again. Am I okay with the amphitheater one?
Yes.
Well, yes, I'm more comfortable with that one, because that's the one that Lynn's looked at already. It's got a couple things that it wouldn't have that we might ask for. I don't know that they're deal breakers. Just for example, if a lawsuit breaks out, we would normally ask that it be restricted to a Johnson County court. That term is not in here.
You okay with keeping bundled up like that?
Well, I think Mark's needing the amphitheater one.
Duke will not start their relocation work for the amphitheater project until they have this easement. So we're just trying to get that one.
They don't need IDEM approval to start on that. But I think either
I'm
way.
just trying to move that one along.
Is that something that can be done quickly, Rob?
Yes.
Rob, yes, yes, meaning week, or is that?
No, I mean, I'd get on it today and I'd flip something back to Duke and Mark here quick.
Okay.
Say we get it done in a week. Is that,
I think that's fine.
okay, that'll work, okay.
So
So,
I can't say how quickly Duke will respond though, because this has been going on for.
assuming that we approve it today, they're not necessarily gonna jump out this afternoon and start working on it.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, so, okay.
And just so I'm clear, there's two signatures on here, and so that would be the RDC president and secretary.
Yes.
It doesn't, okay.
And if there's any questions for Mr. Debbie, then we might have to call another meeting. So. All right. Any other discussion on that? I know there's a motion. Was it seconded? Yeah, Paul, you did. Okay. Any questions or discussion? Those in favor of approval of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Okay.
So could we just could stay on that for a minute? So do you remember a month or two ago, we talked about them wanting to run under or underneath the parking lot?
Yes.
And that was going to be followed up with an easement? Is
Right,
that this?
that's not this.
That's not
Duke is not involved in that easement. Those are telecom companies, MetroNet and I believe CenturyLink. Or Comcast, one of those two members.
That was still on.
Yes, thank you. And the amphitheater one, do you think that's for our service, or is that service for the?
It's mainly service for that commercial.
It's just crossing our ground is what's
Yes.
happening. Right, okay.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Yearly no excess assessed value.
Yeah, so this, you're familiar with this, each year, we have to notify all of the other taxing entities, there's no excess assessed value, no excess TIF, that we would be turning back over to those, taxing units, and so, this notifies them of that. It does kind of go hand in hand with the next item, which is the taxing unit invitation letter. So this last year was the first year for this, where we engaged Jeff Peters to do the analysis of the tax impact that our TIF districts have on other taxing entities, and so I have asked him to prepare that report as required again this year, and he would be prepared to present that to you at your July meeting. He would also would be prepared to present it to the city council the night before. So there's both an evening and morning meeting that any of those taxing units would be able to attend if they chose to. And this letter invites them to both of those, or notifies them of that opportunity to attend both of those meetings.
Do we need approval on both of these?
Yes, and I think also just approval to engage Jeff Peters to prepare that report again as well.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion for approval of the yearly no excess and assessed value letter and the tax and unit invitation letter to be signed by those indicated on the letters, and for authority to engage Jeff Peters for assistance in this process.
Yeah, and Rob, I know you were involved in this report as well last year. We had to do the long-term plan and the utilization of revenue, and so that's something that maybe you and I and Jeff can meet together before that
Yep.
presentation and make sure we've got it covered.
Okay, so we need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's approved. Okay, we are done with new business unless you snuck something in.
I did not,
All right,
I do that.
you've done that every now and then. Okay. Sometimes you change the agenda during the meeting. Okay, we've got financial reports, Christie. I'm just kidding her. You can just go ahead and run through these.
Not a whole lot new to report on your May. This is the amended and integrated, all of the TIF districts. We should have revenue this month. These are still the estimated May property taxes here. These are the numbers that were received last year. And then I just updated the expenditures and added the resolution for County Road 525, that might have even been on there last month. So again, if all of these resolutions were completed by the end of this year, we would have a negative balance, but that is not the plan for all of them to be completed by the end of the year. So just keeping an eye on those tax disbursements, since property taxes were granted a 2-month delay, that will affect our income as well. So, any questions on that one? It's pretty straightforward. I did a separate report. This has been added since I sent the agenda to you. You have copies in front of you. So I know there's been a lot of questions about what is the balance of the bond. And this is the 2019 RDA lease bond, which is tied to the north and south US 31 allocation areas. So this is separate from the last report. So I put this report together to show you the details of the balance at the beginning of the year, revenue, and then it has expenditures through the end of May. That's what's been spent, and then we have a large amount invested, so 6.2 million is invested. The revenue reflects part of that investment that's been cashed in to pay bills, and then also interest from that investment, so that's where the revenue is coming from. And then the expenditures, and then I went ahead and added a column now that we have the contract amounts for all of the items that we plan to use this bond for, those remaining appropriations. So you can see where the US 31 design contract is $3,178,000, and we've made payments out of that, and your previous statements had a list of all of those expenditures. And I still have that list, it's just on a different Excel sheet, and it feeds into this spreadsheet to show what the remaining appropriation is from that contract. And so the same with the design contract. So we've paid Shrewsbury and Crossroads out of this design contract, and this is what is remaining, the $86,000. Now that we have the construction contract, the $5,672,000, we haven't paid anything out of that yet, so that full amount is still remaining, and also the inspection of $593,000. So those remaining appropriations are still there and show you what the bond balance is. So these are completely unencumbered funds remaining. Then down here, I went ahead and added what we paid for demolition of the existing buildings. Well, they're no longer existing because they've been demolished, but this is what we've already paid in demolition, and then the Duke Energy relocation that we paid for, and the environmental sampling that we've also done. And there's gonna be a little bit of additional cost there, just for the reporting and finishing up of that. But I think that's under $10,000. I did go ahead and list the playground and the splash pad, just because those weren't included in the bid, and we're still gonna have some expense there. But that leaves us a balance, and this will increase slightly as we continue to collect some interest on that investment. But conservatively, we have $265,000 of that bond that is not committed to anything. So hopefully that's a little clearer than the way that it's been reported in the past. And I just really wasn't able to do this until we had all these numbers on, we had the bid on the actual construction.
So now we know.
So now we know.
We have until 2022 to spend this money.
Yeah, middle of, yeah.
Like the other bond issue we got. Okay. Any questions on this?
So I separated that out from this report. This is, in addition to that, so you still have the north and south US 31 allocation areas. And so this is gonna be, from now on, I'll just keep this report separate, because this shows you the anticipated revenue. This is what we received last year in June and December as revenue. So this was the beginning cash balance here, and then you have an anticipated, hopefully it's higher than that, but $815,000 that will be coming in revenue. We have made the first of 2 bond payments, and so that $295,000 you'll see down here, that's been spent. There's another one due in July that hasn't been spent, so we'll need a resolution for that at your next month's meeting. Giving you your cash balance and then that other bond payment, that would leave us at the end of the year with $1.5 million still in that TIF, in those combined TIF districts. So if the playground costs more, if we don't get, Dana's written some grant applications and those kinds of things, we still have $1.5 million that we can utilize for either the US 31 or the amphitheater project if needed.
Any questions? And we have one more.
One more, just this is the cash flow analysis. And so I updated this with the second quarter numbers. This is through May, because we had the financial reports through May, but a lot of these have been updated just to show you where we're at on projects. And then I really didn't add anything other than the marketing, the $10,000 for the show building marketing. So that just shows you where this third quarter still is our lowest amount here, the $142,000. Then after we get those tax disbursements, we're back up to nearly $2 million by the end of the year. So just continuing to update that with real-time numbers from invoices that are actually paid, and just updating all of those up here above, and just keeping what we're still considering down below. So, and I know that's hard to read, so there's pretty copies for you.
Any questions?
So hopefully, I know that's a lot of financial information, 4 different reports, but hopefully keeping them separate makes it a little bit clearer as far as kind of what we're seeing.
All right. We done with the financials?
Yeah.
Okay, we have one, looks like one last, yeah.
Question. The Franklin Strong Small Business Grant Award was a success, and all of them qualified.
No, we had 41 applications. We funded 36, and there were 2 that did not qualify. One was not in the city limits, and the other one had more than the 15 employees. And then the remaining ones were applications that just didn't score high enough as far as compared to the other applications that were submitted. So they were either part-time, they weren't actual storefronts, they weren't full-time businesses with full-time employees. And so we just, the way the scoring criteria worked out, we had a six-person selection committee, Rosie and Dana and myself and Shelley Petrus and Deb Terrell and Jess Giles with Discover Downtown Franklin. Each application was scored. There was 100 points possible, and then all of those scores were combined and ranked. And so the way the majority of the applications were fully funded at $7,500, but as we got to the bottom of the scores, some of those were partially funded to make sure that we did exactly the $200,000 from Oak Grant and $50,000 from the Franklin Development Corporation.
A good job. I think our community will be proud to reinvest in those businesses.
Yeah, we were really pleased that there was only really 5 applications that didn't receive any funding, and the majority of the people that applied, I wasn't sure if we were going to get 60 or 100 applications, or so that was good to be able to do most of everybody.
Anything else? Okay, we have one last item of business, and in case you weren't here last month, I made it known that I would be stepping away as the Redevelopment Commission President, but remaining on the commission for the time being. And so as of now, we need to select a president for the office, and so we'll see how that goes. And if it goes a certain way, we may have to select the vice president as well. So I'm just going to open the floor up for nominations for president of the Franklin Redevelopment Commission.
I would nominate Richard Woods for president.
Second.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? I'm not sure if this is according to Robert's rules, but I'll declare the nominations closed and ask for a vote on the motion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Okay, so congratulations, Richard.
Thank you.
Get the high seat starting next month. So, at the same time, I know it's not on the agenda, but I do think it would be appropriate, unless legal counsel denies me this, but we should go ahead and select a vice president for to fill the place of Richard Wirtz. And so I'll open the floor for nominations for vice president of the Redevelopment Commission.
I would nominate Paul Buning as vice president.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Congratulations. You're one step away from the hot seat.
One heartbeat.
All right, just for the record, Mr. Debbie has made it known that he's quite content to remain secretary for the commission. Is there any other business to bring before the commission at this time? Any public comments?
I just have one thing. The Franklin Farmers Market will start July 4th through October 10th. Timing, I think, is, well, it's different, obviously, because of COVID this year. And with that, since the Redevelopment Commission owns that parking lot, I have the property request form with those modified dates on it for your consideration from Discover Downtown Franklin.
Rosie, you have anything? Yes.
Well, the chamber is doing a t-shirt sale. I think some of you know about that from last night. So we are selling t-shirts for $20, and all the money from that will go toward some of our small businesses to help them. We're going to, in the form of gift cards, we're going to purchase gift cards now from them and then distribute those at Small Business Saturday. So you can buy a shirt online once we get it up very soon, and then also at the farmers market will be there on the 4th.
Okay, very good. All right. Are you accepting orders now?
Yes, if you are right there. The website's not quite, I'm just working on that, but if you want to tell me, we can do pre-orders.
Mayor?
Bob, I just want to thank you for your leadership the last few years. We went a long way, and you've been a big part of getting us there, so appreciate your service, and glad you're sticking around for a little while and helping out, so thank you.
Appreciate
And
it.
I also want to introduce Amanda Rubovich. Okay. Amanda is the Aspire, she took Dana's job at Aspire, so Amanda's somebody that we're probably going to get to know a little bit with the Redevelopment Commission, so I just wanted to introduce her, and if you have a few words you want to say, feel free.
Yes, I'm very excited to be here. This is actually my first day in our Franklin office, so we'll be in the Festival Country office. As of today, we started kind of cycling through opening back our Greenwood office, and as our phases have come through, we've wrapped up our strategic plan, so you'll see some documentation on that here pretty soon. And looking for, I started with Aspire about 3 weeks before our shutdown, and then I was told to pack my stuff and head home. And so I'm just very excited to be out and about again, and actually getting to put some faces with some voices now. So thank you.
Well, welcome, Amanda. Okay. Mayor, thank you for your remarks as well. Anything else? Anybody need to sign anything? I think we,
I have the marketing resolution for your signature. Did you pass that? You guys still have that. I'll find it before you leave. Paul has it, okay. And then, Rob, on the minutes, can BJ still sign those even if he wasn't here? Okay, so we'll just follow up with him. And we should be good.
okay. If there's no other business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.